Welcome to the Motivational Library, where inspiration awaits. Step inside an ancient yet futuristic realm of knowledge. Golden dust dances in the air, illuminated by warm sunlight. Books levitate, releasing radiant streams of light and hope. Focus on a golden book, resting on a marble pedestal. Its pages flutter, bursting with brilliant light and swirling letters. The title emerges, The Motivational Library, bold and bright. Motivational shines in radiant gold, library in sleek silver. Feel the cinematic depth and warmth as the light expands. Witness wisdom spreading like a sunrise over the horizon. As the light fills the frame, our tagline appears, where every word awakens power. End with a soft golden flash, revealing our channel logo.
Let's begin. Preface: the generation that refused to bow. There comes a moment in every generation, a moment when silence becomes suffocating, when excuses start to sound like eulogies, and when the world's noise dares you to either shrink or stand. This book was born for that moment, not for the comfortable, not for the ones who scroll through life complaining about the system, but for the restless souls, the ones who feel a fire in their bones, who know they were meant for more than mediocrity, who ache with a question that won't die. What if I'm capable of more than I've been told? We are the most connected generation in history, yet somehow the most disconnected from ourselves. We've built skyscrapers of technology, but torn down the temples of patience. We chase validation like air, but forget how to breathe in silence. We compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel and call it failure. We drown in options, but starve for meaning. We have information at our fingertips, but inspiration slipping through our fingers. And yet, amid all this chaos, something unbreakable is stirring. A quiet rebellion, a rise of the uncomplaining, the ones who've had enough of pity parties and someday plans, the ones who are tired of waiting for permission to matter, the ones who would rather build than blame. This is their book, their manifesto, their mirror. Because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. We have no excuse to stay broken. Not in this era. Not with the access, the knowledge, the possibility we hold in our hands every single day. The old excuses don't fit this new world. We are standing in the most abundant age of opportunity ever known. And yet, so many are still kneeling before fear. But the time for kneeling is over. This is the rise. This generation, our generation, was not built to complain. We were built to create, to collide, to rise. We are the dreamers who got tired of just dreaming. The hustlers who turned pain into power. The believers who found faith not in comfort, but in climb. We are the generation of firsts. First to grow up with limitless access. And first to forget that access means responsibility. But now, we remember. We remember that a phone can either distract us or define us. That social media can either waste us or wake us. That our time is the most sacred currency we'll ever spend. And how we spend it is our legacy. When you read these words, don't just read them, feel them. Let them echo in the part of you that still believes you were born to do something impossible. Because you were. This book isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to make you feel ready. To strip away the noise, the doubt, the numbness. Until what remains is the real you. Unshaken, unashamed, unstoppable. Each chapter is a mirror and a map. A cinematic journey through the ashes, the battlefields, and the rebirth of purpose. You'll meet the versions of yourself that gave up too soon, and the ones still waiting to rise. You'll confront fear, ego, burnout, and illusion, not to destroy them, but to transform them into the fuel of greatness. Because this generation's victory won't come from luck. It will come from clarity, from discipline, from relentless faith in something bigger than likes, labels, or limits. There will be moments while reading this where you'll want to pause. Because the truth will sting before it sets you free. Good. That's how transformation begins. You can't rewrite your story without facing the ink. This is not a self-help book. This is a self-awakening. A cinematic call to arms for every soul that's tired of waiting to feel ready. Tired of settling for almost. Tired of being another spectator in a world of builders. Because deep down, you already know. You were not designed for comfort. You were designed for conquest. So turn the page, step into the fire, and remember, When life pushes you to your knees, it's not asking you to surrender. It's giving you the perfect position to rise. This generation has been doubted, distracted, and divided. But that ends now. We are not the lost generation. We are the rising one. And our time is not someday. Our time is now. Welcome to the rise. Welcome to this generation was built to rise, not to complain. Chapter 1. The Noise and the Calling. The world had never been louder. Every morning, billions of screens flickered awake before the sun. Notifications screamed like hungry birds, each demanding a piece of your attention. The scroll had become the new sunrise, an endless digital horizon filled with opinions, filters, and illusions of progress. And somewhere inside that noise, the whisper of your calling, that fragile, sacred voice that used to dream, create, and believe, was gasping for air. The story: the man who couldn't hear himself anymore. Ethan sat at his desk, surrounded by half-open tabs and the soft hum of his laptop fan. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, but his thumb still scrolled out of reflex, a motion so automatic it felt like breathing. Every scroll was a new comparison. Someone was richer, someone was fitter, someone was happier, someone had just made it. He closed his eyes for a moment and whispered, almost to himself, "I'm so tired." Not tired in the way sleep could fix, but in the way souls get tired, when you've chased everything except meaning. It wasn't always this way. Once, Ethan was full of wild ideas. He wanted to start a podcast, build an app, travel the world, write a book. But somewhere between the bills, the deadlines, and the dopamine hits of fake progress, that fire dimmed. One night, after yet another mindless scroll, his reflection caught him off guard. His own eyes looked back, dull and distant, as if they were waiting for him to remember something or someone. That night, he turned off every screen. The silence was terrifying. He realized how long it had been since he'd actually heard his own thoughts. And beneath all that digital chaos, one truth surfaced like a whisper rising from the depths. You are not lost. You're just buried under noise. The struggle, the addiction to distraction. Distraction is the modern disease of the mind. It doesn't destroy with violence. It kills with comfort. We tell ourselves we're busy, but deep down, we know we're just avoiding. Avoiding the hard conversations. Avoiding our fears. Avoiding the mirror. Every swipe, every scroll, every endless hour of consumption is a quiet escape from the truth that scares us most. That maybe, just maybe, we're meant for more. You don't need another motivational quote to rise. You need silence. The kind that strips you bare. The kind that forces you to meet your own soul again. Because the truth is, your destiny isn't hiding behind a screen. It's waiting behind your excuses. The lesson: reclaiming the frequency of focus. In a world where everyone is speaking, those who can still listen will lead. Ethan began to practice something radical: disconnection. 1 hour a day, he turned off the world. No phone, no music, no notifications. Just him, a blank page, and his thoughts. At first, it felt awkward. His mind raced. His fingers twitched for the phone. But slowly, the static began to fade, and something deeper emerged: clarity. He began to see the patterns of his own self-sabotage. He realized how much time he spent reacting instead of creating. He saw how his self-worth had been hijacked by comparison. The silence, once unbearable, became sacred. It was in that silence that ideas returned. Vision returned. He returned. In the quiet, the real you finally speaks. And when he started listening, life began responding. The transformation, the rebirth of attention. Weeks turned into months. Ethan's mind, once cluttered, became a forge. He started his podcast. He built his app. He reconnected with purpose. But more than that, he learned the secret of mastery in the modern age. Control your attention, and you control your destiny. Because the real wealth of this generation isn't money, followers, or fame, it's focus. The mind that can stay centered in chaos is the mind that shapes the future. Key takeaways. 1. Distraction is the silent destroyer of destiny. Guard your focus like treasure. 2. Silence is not emptiness, it's clarity. What you avoid in quiet is what's running your life. 3. Attention is your new superpower. What you give energy to grows. 4. In a noisy world, peace is a competitive advantage. 5. You can't find your calling if you never stop to listen. Action step 1. The 60-minute reset. For the next 7 days, disconnect for 1 hour daily. No phone, no noise, no input. Just you and your thoughts. Write what surfaces. 2. Ask yourself, oh, what am I constantly distracting myself from? Oh, what dream or idea keeps trying to return, even when I ignore it? 3. Create your focus ritual. Identify one sacred hour each morning or night where you'll do only one thing that moves you closer to your purpose. Protect it like it's oxygen. Chapter 2. The Mirror Test. Facing the truth about who you've become. The most terrifying moment isn't standing before the world. It's standing before yourself, with no filters, no masks, and nowhere left to hide. Because the mirror never lies. It reflects not just your face, but your becoming. The choices, the habits, the fears, the silent wars you fought when no one was watching. The story. The girl who feared her own reflection. Maya hadn't looked at herself in the mirror, really looked, in years. Every morning, she went through the motions. A quick glance, mascara, lip gloss, and gone. She avoided her own eyes like they were haunted. Somewhere between heartbreak, deadlines, and endless scrolling through other people's perfect lives, she had forgotten the woman she once wanted to be. She used to be fire, wild, curious, untamed. Now, she felt like ashes with a pulse. Her apartment was quiet, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator and the sound of her heart. Heavy, tired, waiting for something unnamed. That night, something inside her cracked. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the silence. Or maybe it was the unbearable weight of pretending. She walked to the bathroom, flicked on the light, and faced the mirror. What she saw wasn't failure, it was disconnection. Her reflection wasn't judging her. It was inviting her, asking softly, "When did you stop being you?" And for the first time in a long time, Maya didn't look away. Tears welled up. They weren't tears of weakness. They were truth finally being released. Years of self-betrayal, comparison, and quiet suffocation melting off her soul. In that moment, something sacred happened. She forgave herself for forgetting. The struggle, the silent decay of self-betrayal. Most people aren't destroyed by others. They're destroyed by the quiet betrayals they commit against themselves. Every time you say yes when your heart screams no. Every time you shrink your dreams to make others comfortable. Every time you scroll instead of build. Every time you numb instead of feel. It doesn't happen all at once. It's slow erosion. You don't wake up one day lost. You fade into lostness, decision by decision, distraction by distraction. And one day, you realize you've been living your entire life on autopilot. You've been pleasing instead of pursuing, consuming instead of creating, existing instead of expanding. But here's the thing no one tells you. The moment you face the mirror, you reclaim the power to change everything. Because truth hurts, yes, but lies kill. The lesson, brutal honesty as the first step to freedom. Maya began journaling every night, not with aesthetic handwriting or perfect gratitude lists, but with raw confessions. I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. I hate that I compare myself every day. I don't even know what I want anymore. Each page was a release, a purge, a peeling away of the layers she had built to survive. And somewhere in those messy, tear-stained pages, she started to rediscover her own voice. The voice that said, "You don't have to be perfect to begin again. You're allowed to start over, even if you're scared." Because growth doesn't start with positivity. It starts with truth. You can't heal what you won't face. You can't change what you won't admit. You can't rise until you stop pretending you're not on the ground. The transformation, becoming real again. Weeks passed. Maya kept facing the mirror, not to fix herself, but to meet herself. Each morning, she whispered affirmations, not like mantras, but like promises reborn. I am not my past. I am rebuilding, not broken. I am learning to love the woman I'm becoming. And something inside her shifted. Her posture changed. Her tone softened. Her smile became real again. Not because life got easier, but because she finally stopped running from it. She started creating again. Painting, recording short videos, sharing her journey not from perfection, but from truth. And people connected, not with her achievements, but with her authenticity. That's the paradox of the mirror test. When you stop hiding, you start healing. When you stop performing, you start connecting. When you face your truth, you find your power. Philosophical reflection. the mirror never judges. Here's the truth most people avoid. The mirror isn't your enemy. Your avoidance is. The mirror isn't cruel. It's clear. It doesn't mock you. It mirrors what's been waiting to be acknowledged. When you stand before it and say, "I've been lost, but I'm ready to come home," something cosmic happens. You begin to align with your higher self, the version of you that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. It's not about hating your reflection, it's about honoring it. Because the face you see carries every storm you've survived and every dawn you've earned. That's not failure you're looking at. That's proof you're still in the fight. The turning point, the return of self-respect. One evening, Maya stood before the mirror again, but this time, there were no tears, only a quiet strength. She traced her reflection and whispered, "You're not who you were, but you're becoming who you're meant to be." And for the first time in years, her reflection smiled back. That night, she realized something eternal. Self-respect is the foundation of every comeback. Because no dream, no relationship, no success can stand on the shaky ground of self-betrayal. You can't rise if you're still apologizing for your light. The modern mirror test, for you, the reader. When was the last time you faced yourself, really faced yourself? Not your curated version, not your social media reflection, but the unfiltered, unedited, 3 a.m. version of you. The one who knows what you've been avoiding. If you did, what would you see? Regret? Exhaustion? Fear? Or maybe the faint outline of who you were always meant to be? Because that's the person waiting for you beyond guilt, beyond distraction, beyond the noise. And when you finally meet them again, the world changes because you do. Key takeaways. 1. Honesty is the first act of healing. You can't fix what you won't face. 2. Avoidance breeds anxiety. The longer you run from truth, the louder it chases you. 3. Your reflection isn't your enemy, it's your roadmap. The pain you see is your potential trying to get out. 4. Forgiveness starts with self-awareness. You can't forgive what you deny. 5. The mirror shows who you are, but also who you can still become. Action step 1. The 5-minute mirror ritual. Every morning for the next 7 days, stand before the mirror, look into your eyes, and say out loud one truth about yourself, no matter how uncomfortable. Then follow it with one promise. Example, "Oh truth, I've been avoiding my dreams." "Oh promise, but today, I'll take one step toward them." 2. Journal prompt. "Oh, who have I been pretending to be? Oh, what part of me is asking to return? Oh, what truth have I been afraid to face?" 3. The forgiveness letter. Write a private letter to yourself, not to criticize, but to release. Begin with, "I forgive you for," and keep writing until you feel light. Closing reflection. There comes a day when the mirror stops showing your reflection and starts showing your potential. That's the day you begin again. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need the courage to face yourself and say, "I'm not who I used to be, but I'm still becoming." And maybe that's all victory really is. Chapter 3. Digital Shadows. The battle between validation and value. The world is a stage now, and everyone's performing. Every smile, every story, every slice of life carefully filtered through pixels and approval. But beneath the highlight reels and hashtags, there's a quiet ache spreading through our generation. The fear of not being enough unless someone else says so. We used to live for moments. Now, we live for reactions. The story, the influencer who forgot herself. Lila had everything the world said would make her happy. 1 million followers. A sponsorship deal with a luxury brand. Her face on digital billboards. Her voice echoing through the algorithm. She was seen by everyone, yet known by no one. Behind her flawless feed, she lived in fragments. Each photo was polished perfection, but the girl behind the screen was unraveling. Her mornings started not with gratitude, but with analytics. Her worth rose and fell with engagement rates. When the numbers dipped, so did her self-esteem. One night, after hours of mindless scrolling, Lila saw an old photo, a younger version of herself, barefoot on a beach, holding a camera, laughing at the sky. No filters, no captions, no validation, just life. Tears welled up as a truth cut through her like a whisper from the soul she'd silenced. You've become a stranger to your own joy. The struggle, the illusion of enough. Validation is the new addiction, and it's more powerful than any drug. Every like releases dopamine. Every share gives us a hit of belonging. But the crash always comes, quiet, invisible, devastating. We start performing instead of living. We trade authenticity for applause. We forget how to feel without feedback. And the scariest part? You can't cure what you still crave. Lila didn't realize how deep it went until she posted a photo she loved, one that felt real, and it got fewer likes than usual. For days, she replayed it in her mind, wondering, did I look bad? Did I say the wrong thing? Am I losing relevance? That's when she understood the trap. She wasn't chasing meaning anymore. She was chasing metrics. The lesson, from external validation to inner worth. The digital world promises connection, but it often delivers comparison. It's not evil. It's just loud. And if you don't know who you are before you enter it, you'll forget who you were meant to be. Lila began detoxing from the need for approval. It wasn't glamorous. It was messy and emotional. She unfollowed accounts that triggered insecurity. She stopped posting for a week, then 2, then 3. At first, the silence felt like death. Her online world was her identity. But then something beautiful happened. The more she disconnected from validation, the more she reconnected with value. She began creating again, not for likes, but for love. She volunteered at a youth center, mentoring girls on confidence and creativity. She wrote poetry again, painted, cried, breathed. Her audience shrank, but her soul expanded. That's when she realized, I don't need to be followed to feel fulfilled. Philosophical reflection, the age of digital shadows. We've become masters at constructing personas, perfectly curated digital shadows of who we think we should be. But those shadows cannot feel sunlight. Every time you post for approval, you lose a fragment of freedom. Every time you measure your worth in metrics, you give away your power. It's not about deleting your social media. It's about reclaiming your intention. Ask yourself before you post, am I sharing to express or to impress? Is this connection or performance? Does this reflect who I am or who I think I should be? Because the truth is, the world doesn't need another influencer. It needs inspirers, people whose lives speak louder than their captions. The transformation, becoming authentically visible. Months later, Lila returned online, not as a brand, but as a human. Her first post was simple. A photo of her messy art studio, paint on her hands, sunlight spilling through cracked blinds. The caption read, I'm not here to impress anymore. I'm here to express. It didn't go viral, but something else did, her spirit. People began commenting things like, thank you for being real, I needed this. This feels human. She smiled, not the polished smile for the camera, but the one that came from the soul. Because she had finally learned the greatest truth of all. When you stop trying to be liked, you become unforgettable. Psychological insight, the neuroscience of validation. Studies show that the brain's reward center lights up when we receive likes or compliments online, similar to the high we get from gambling or drugs. It's not vanity, it's wiring. But like any habit, it can be rewired. When you start rewarding yourself for growth instead of approval, your brain adapts. You begin craving effort, mastery, progress, not applause. That's when your focus shifts from performance to purpose. And purpose, unlike validation, never runs out. Closing reflection, the shadow and the sun. We all have two selves, the one we show and the one we hide. But the world doesn't need your shadow. It needs your light. So, step out from behind the filters. Show your scars, your fears, your process. Because that's where your power lives. Not in the illusion of perfection, but in the courage of authenticity. You were never meant to blend in with algorithms. You were meant to break them, with truth, with soul, with unapologetic humanity. The digital world can amplify your voice, but only if you still remember how to speak from your heart. Key takeaways. 1. Validation is temporary. Value is eternal. 2. Your worth is not a number, it's your impact. 3. Authenticity connects deeper than perfection ever could. 4. The digital world is powerful, but you must master it, not be mastered by it. 5. When you express from truth, you inspire freedom in others. Action step 1. The 72-hour detox. Spend 3 days without posting or checking engagement. Observe how you feel. Write down every emotion that arises: boredom, anxiety, relief, and what it reveals about your relationship with validation. 2. the alignment audit. Look at your last 5 posts. Ask yourself, oh, did I share this to express or impress? Oh, does it reflect my values or my vanity? 3. Create value daily. For 1 week, replace scrolling with creating. Write, draw, plan, build. Do something that feeds your value, not your visibility. Closing line. The world doesn't remember the loudest voices. It remembers the most real. Don't chase the algorithm. Chase alignment. Because when your light shines from within, no shadow, digital or otherwise, can dim it. Chapter 4. The Power of Obsession. How relentless focus shapes destiny. There's a thin line between obsession and insanity, and every world changer has walked it barefoot. They've stared into that fire and refused to blink. While others called it too much, they called it necessary. Obsession is not madness. It's clarity, so sharp it cuts through noise. It's the hunger that refuses to sleep until the dream becomes bone and blood. Every revolution begins with someone who couldn't let go. The story, the pianist in the dark. At 2:47 a.m., the city slept. But in a dimly lit apartment, a young man named Aaron pressed his fingers against ivory keys, again and again and again. He'd been practicing the same section of a song for 7 hours straight. His back ached, his fingertips burned, but he refused to stop. The melody wasn't just music to him. It was his heartbeat translated into sound. His friends used to laugh. "Bro, take a break. You're obsessed." He'd smile faintly and whisper, "Exactly." Years later, when Aaron played that same song on the grand stage of Vienna, with tears in his eyes and thunder in his soul, the crowd rose in awe. What they saw was talent. What they didn't see was devotion. The years of solitude, the 1,000 failed takes, the moments of doubt that could have broken anyone less obsessed. Aaron didn't choose obsession. It chose him. The truth, greatness demands a certain madness. The world glorifies success, but hides the sleepless nights it takes to earn it. People want the crown, but not the calluses. Obsession is that silent engine beneath every impossible story. It's what makes an athlete practice in the rain when no one's watching. It's what drives an entrepreneur to study markets until sunrise. It's what keeps an artist painting when the world has already moved on. And it's what separates the interested from the inevitable. Discipline gets you started. Obsession keeps you immortal. The psychology of obsession, the flow beyond logic. Neuroscientists call it the flow state, that realm where effort disappears, time dissolves, and purpose consumes you whole. But few ever reach it because it demands surrender. To enter flow, you must give up distraction. To master something, you must be willing to be misunderstood. And to change your destiny, you must dare to be called crazy. History remembers the obsessed. Tesla, scribbling equations in candlelight until dawn. Da Vinci, dissecting cadavers to understand beauty. Kobe Bryant, in the gym before sunrise, long before cameras arrived. These weren't habits. These were holy rituals of purpose. The battle, focus versus fragments. We live in an age of fractured attention, where focus is currency and distraction is the new poverty. Our phones buzz. Notifications scream. We scroll through 1,000 lives while forgetting to live our own. That's why obsession has become rare. Because it demands the one thing modern society fears most, single-mindedness. The average person chases 5 dreams halfway. The obsessed one chases one dream all the way and wins. You can't build a legacy if you keep hitting reset. Every masterpiece was once a monotony someone refused to quit on. Every breakthrough was born from 1,000 tiny repetitions. It's not that the obsessed are superhuman, they're just singular. While the world multitasks, they immortalize. The warning, obsession without balance. But obsession, unchecked, can consume. When the flame becomes a wildfire, it burns everything: relationships, health, peace. True mastery requires direction. Focus isn't about intensity alone, it's about alignment. The key is to obsess consciously. To let your hunger feed your purpose, not your ego. To build, not burn. Aaron learned this too. After years of relentless grind, he found himself on tour, exhausted, lonely, disconnected. Then one evening, he played a small charity concert for children in a hospital. Their smiles, their claps, their pure wonder. That's when he remembered why he began. It was never about perfection. It was about connection. That night, obsession evolved into devotion. And that's the alchemy that turns success into significance. Philosophical reflection, the divine fire. In ancient myth, Prometheus stole fire from the gods to give to humanity. That fire, that unquenchable spark, is obsession. It's the divine force inside you that demands creation, that refuses mediocrity, that aches to build something eternal. But every fire needs a vessel, or it will destroy what it was meant to illuminate. Your vessel is discipline. Your flame is passion. Your result is destiny. So, guard your fire. Feed it wisely. Direct it fiercely. Because when obsession and purpose merge, destiny bows in your direction. The cinematic moment, when focus becomes fate. Picture this. A craftsman in a silent workshop, carving wood under the glow of a single bulb. A boxer alone in a gym, throwing punches into the dark. A writer staring at a blinking cursor, wrestling with invisible words. No audience, no applause, no guarantee, just obsession, that pure, unrelenting dialogue between the soul and its mission. This is where greatness is born, not in front of crowds, but in the unseen hours when no one believes but you. The obsessed don't chase dreams, they become them. Action steps. 1. The hour of focus. Choose one goal, one dream. Dedicate one undistracted hour daily to it. No phone, no noise, no escape, just presence. 2. The fire audit. Ask yourself, oh, is my obsession aligned with purpose or ego? Oh, does it build my future or drain my soul? 3. The rule of completion. Finish one thing this month. A project, a song, a plan. Completion builds confidence, and confidence fuels destiny. Key takeaways. Obsession isn't insanity, it's intensity with direction. The world belongs to those who can focus through noise. Repetition builds mastery. Consistency breeds legacy. Balance your fire with awareness. Let it purify, not consume. The obsessed are remembered not for what they chased, but for what they became. Closing reflection. You were not born to scatter your energy across 1,000 maybes. You were born to burn, to turn potential into proof. Don't fear obsession. Fear distraction. Because while others drown in options, the obsessed rise through conviction. So whatever your dream is, hold it like sacred fire. Feed it with discipline. Protect it from doubt. Because one day, when the world looks back and calls you unstoppable, you'll smile and whisper, "No, I was just obsessed." Chapter 5. The Pain of Growth. Breaking comfort to rebuild confidence. Growth doesn't feel like blooming. It feels like breaking. Like something inside you is being torn apart so something new can emerge. The truth no one tells you is this. Before the glow comes the grind. Before strength, there's shattering. Before confidence, there's collapse. And if you've ever felt lost, stuck, or hollow while trying to better yourself, that's not failure. That's the sound of your old limits dying. The story, the runner who quit at the finish line. It was dawn when Layla laced her shoes, the city still wrapped in sleep. For months, she'd been training for her first marathon, her father's old dream that she'd promised to fulfill after he passed away. She'd printed his favorite quote on her wristband, "Run with your heart, not your legs." But halfway through the marathon, her lungs betrayed her. Her knees screamed. The once clear road blurred into a cruel mirage. People passed her, younger, faster, lighter. She tried to smile, but inside, her spirit cracked. At mile 18, she stopped running. Tears welled up as she crouched on the side of the road, watching her dream vanish under the stampede of others' triumphs. "I can't," she whispered, hating the words as they left her mouth. Her coach found her later, sitting by the curb. "You were almost there," he said softly. She shook her head. "I wasn't strong enough." He knelt beside her, looked her in the eyes, and said something that changed her forever. "You don't stop because it's hard. You stop when you forget why you started." The lesson: growth is brutal before it's beautiful. Pain is not punishment. It's preparation. Layla's story isn't about failure. It's about facing the threshold that every human meets. That invisible line between comfort and transformation. You see, comfort feels safe because it's familiar. But nothing grows in familiarity. Muscles don't grow without tension. Confidence doesn't rise without challenge. Purpose doesn't bloom without pain. The cocoon is cozy, but it's also a coffin if you stay too long. Growth is nature's way of asking, are you willing to break the old you? The psychology, why growth hurts. Our brains are wired for safety, not success. Comfort signals survival. Change feels like danger. That's why every step into discomfort feels like betrayal. Your mind resists it because it's designed to keep you the same. But growth lives on the other side of resistance. Pain is not your enemy. It's feedback. It's the universe whispering. You're stretching into a new frequency. And when you numb that pain with distractions, excuses, or denial, you silence the very signal meant to guide you forward. Pain is the compass that points you toward your next evolution. The reflection, the sacred burn. Imagine fire. It destroys, yes, but it also purifies. Gold is useless until it's melted. Seeds must crack open before they bloom. So must you. Every breakdown you faced wasn't meant to bury you. It was meant to burn away the version of you that couldn't carry your next blessing. The heartbreak that shattered your trust, it taught you boundaries. The rejection that humiliated you, it built your resilience. The failure that broke your ego, it made space for humility and hunger. The pain of growth is not cruel. It's sacred surgery. The turning point, when Layla returned. Weeks after the marathon, Layla returned to the same track where she had stopped. No medals, no crowd, just her and the wind. This time, she didn't run for victory. She ran for redemption. Every step echoed like a heartbeat, not of speed, but of spirit. At the final mile, she whispered to the sky, "I'm still here." And in that quiet moment, something miraculous happened. Her grief turned into grit. Her pain turned into power. Her doubt turned into faith in motion. That's what growth does. It takes the pieces of who you were and rearranges them into someone you never thought you could be. Philosophical insight, the paradox of becoming. To grow is to grieve, the death of your old self, your old excuses, your old limitations. But grief is proof that transformation is happening. The butterfly doesn't mourn the caterpillar. It becomes something new. And so must you. When you begin to outgrow your old environments, people, or habits, that discomfort isn't loneliness. It's elevation. The air gets thinner at higher altitudes, but the view is divine. Growth is rarely gentle, but it's always generous. Because every ounce of pain you endure today becomes the wisdom that steadies you tomorrow. Cinematic scene, the mirror moment. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror, but the reflection staring back isn't who you were last year. It's the version of you forged through every battle you thought would break you. Look closer. There's light in your scars. There's courage in your eyes. There's proof, living, breathing proof, that pain didn't win. This is not weakness. This is the architecture of growth. You didn't just survive discomfort. You rebuilt yourself from it. Key takeaways. Growth feels like pain because it's expansion. You're stretching beyond old limits. Comfort is a beautiful cage. Freedom begins where familiarity ends. Every struggle is sacred. It's your soul's gym. Pain is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Confidence is rebuilt through every challenge you face, not every victory you win. Action step 1. The discomfort journal. For the next 7 days, write down one thing that made you uncomfortable and what it taught you. Growth hides in those moments. 2. The courage ritual. Every morning, whisper this. I will not run from the burn. I will rise through it. 3. The challenge choice. Do one thing this week that scares you. Speak up, start that project, end that habit. Then note how your confidence shifts afterward. Closing reflection. Growth doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It arrives quietly, disguised as discomfort, heartbreak, or failure. And when it does, most people retreat. But not you. You are the generation that rises, not complains. You are the one who sees pain not as an obstacle, but as an invitation. An invitation to rebuild, to rise, to remember who you were meant to be. So when it hurts, smile. Because the pain of growth is simply the echo of transformation. And when you stand tall on the other side, stronger and unshakable, you'll look back and whisper to your old self, that hurt was holy. It built the unbreakable me. Chapter 6. The Hustler's Heart, Purpose Beyond the Paycheck. There's a moment, quiet, hollow, almost imperceptible, when the applause fades, the notifications stop, and the room finally goes still. It's in that silence that many hustlers realize something terrifying. They've been running at full speed, but in the wrong direction. We live in an age that glorifies the grind. Work harder, sleep later, earn more. But nobody asks, why? Because the truth is, success without significance is just exhaustion in disguise. The story: the man who built the tower. His name was Rehan Malik, 32, founder of a tech startup that had become the talk of the city. Investors adored him. His calendar was full, his bank account overflowing. And yet, he couldn't sleep. Every night, he'd stare at the ceiling of his penthouse apartment, the city lights flickering across his face like ghosts. He had everything he once prayed for, but it all felt strangely hollow. He remembered the kid he used to be, the dreamer who wanted to build something that mattered. Now, that kid was buried under spreadsheets, strategy meetings, and silent dinners. He'd built a tower so high that he could no longer hear his own heartbeat. One night, after another 16-hour workday, Rehan found himself driving through the old neighborhood he grew up in. He saw the local park where he used to play cricket, the small shop where he'd buy mango juice with his father's loose change. He parked, sat there, and for the first time in years, he breathed. A little boy, maybe 10, ran past his car, holding a broken cricket bat. Rehan smiled faintly. That was him once, full of fire, not fatigue. It hit him like a storm. Somewhere along the way, he'd confused success with fulfillment. The realization, the soul's bankruptcy. You can earn millions and still feel poor if your heart's not in it. You can be admired by the world and still despise your reflection. Hustle is sacred when it's born from purpose, but hollow when it's driven by insecurity. We chase validation like oxygen, from titles, likes, money, attention, forgetting that none of it lasts. Because no paycheck can fill the void left by an unlived purpose. Rehan realized he wasn't addicted to progress. He was addicted to proving himself, to a world that had already moved on. That's the cruel irony of modern ambition. We fight so hard to be seen that we forget to see ourselves. The philosophy, the duality of drive. There are two kinds of hustlers. The empty hustler, running from something. Fear, insecurity, comparison. Their grind is escape disguised as ambition. And then there's the aligned hustler, running towards something. Vision, service, legacy. Their grind is devotion disguised as work. Both look the same from the outside. Long hours, high performance, restless energy. But one collapses into burnout. The other rises into brilliance. The difference? Intention. Purpose turns labor into legacy. The struggle, the addiction to more. We've mistaken busyness for purpose. We equate activity with achievement. But if you're always running, you never arrive. If you're always building, you never become. Ask yourself, would you still chase it if no one ever applauded? Would you still grind if there was no trophy waiting? Because if your why depends on validation, your soul is on someone else's payroll. The turning point, when Rehan rediscovered his why. A few months later, Rehan attended a local youth conference as a guest speaker. He almost declined. He thought he was too busy, too important. But something nudged him to go. When he arrived, he saw hundreds of young dreamers, eyes shining with hope. They weren't chasing luxury. They were chasing impact. After his speech, a girl walked up to him and said, "Sir, I want to build an app that helps blind people navigate cities. But I don't have the courage. How did you find yours?" Rehan smiled, eyes glistening. For the first time in years, he didn't talk about investors or profits. He talked about belief, about service, about meaning. When the session ended, he sat alone in the hallway, overwhelmed. He realized this was it. This was the pulse he'd been missing. He didn't want to just build companies. He wanted to build people. And in that moment, Rehan Malik, the burned-out businessman, became a mentor, a guide, a builder of souls. That day, his heart clocked back in. The reflection, the heart of hustle. The world will tell you that your worth is measured in wealth, followers, and fame. But true worth is invisible. It's in the lives you touch, the integrity you keep, the peace you protect. Purpose doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers in the quiet moments. When you realize the joy you get from helping someone else outweighs the joy of impressing everyone else. You can't buy fulfillment. You can only build it through contribution, connection, and conviction. When your hustle serves something greater than your ego, you don't burn out. You burn brighter. Philosophical insight, the currency of meaning. Money feeds the body. Purpose feeds the soul. Both are important, but one sustains, the other defines. It's not about rejecting success, it's about redefining it. We were taught to chase the paycheck, but maybe true wealth is measured in inner peace, not outer possession. Because one day, the applause will fade, the accounts will close, the spotlight will move, and all that will remain is who you became while you were busy chasing everything else. Hustle with heart, or not at all. Cinematic scene, the second sunrise. Months later, Rayhan stood again on that same balcony where he once felt hollow. The same city lights shimmered, but this time, they didn't mock him. He'd changed his company's mission, dedicating a portion of profits to train underprivileged youth in tech. He was mentoring 3 startups, not for money, but for meaning. As the first rays of sunrise touched his face, he whispered, This is success. Not the size of the empire, but the expansion of his heart. The hustler had finally found his heartbeat. Key takeaways. Hustle loses meaning when purpose is forgotten. Ambition without alignment leads to emptiness. The goal is not more, it's meaningful. When your work serves others, burnout becomes fulfillment. Success is not what you own, but who you become. Action step 1. Purpose audit. Write down why you do what you do. Then ask yourself, if the money vanished, would I still care? 2. The legacy question. Imagine your career, your hustle, your work, 10 years from now. Who did it help? Who did it change? What impact did it leave? 3. Redefine success. Create your own definition of wealth, not in currency, but in contribution, connection, and contentment. Closing reflection. You were not born just to make a living. You were born to make a difference. Yes, hustle hard. Yes, dream big. But never forget the heart that beats beneath the grind. Because one day, when the noise settles and the trophies fade, you'll realize the richest life is not one filled with applause, but one filled with alignment. The world doesn't need another millionaire. It needs more missionaries, people who hustle with heart, who serve with soul, who chase purpose beyond the paycheck. And if that's you, then you've already won. Chapter 7. The Discipline Code, Quiet Rituals that Breed Unstoppable Momentum. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't post on social media. It doesn't ask for applause. It moves in silence, like gravity, unseen but irresistible. While the world glorifies moments of victory, discipline worships at the altar of consistency. It's not a spark. It's a steady flame that refuses to go out, even when the world goes dark. Discipline is the bridge between intention and impact, between who you are and who you said you'd become. The story, the boxer who trained alone. It was 4:02 a.m. when Kian entered the abandoned gym. The city outside was asleep, the air thick with silence. Only the hum of fluorescent lights and the faint echo of his footsteps filled the space. He wrapped his hands, slowly, methodically, as if performing a sacred ritual. The punching bag hung before him like an old rival. He threw his first jab, then another, then another. No music, no cameras, no audience, just repetition. Hundreds of punches, thousands, until his arms shook and his breath came out ragged. For 5 years, no one knew his name. He wasn't trending. He wasn't winning. He was just training. And when his moment finally came, when he stepped into the ring for his first televised fight, people called him an overnight success. Overnight? They hadn't seen the 5 years of mornings before dawn. That's discipline. The art of showing up long before anyone claps. The reflection, the loneliness of the committed. Discipline is not loud. It's lonely. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. It's writing when no one reads. It's training when no one's watching. It's doing when motivation is gone. Discipline is what remains when the emotion fades. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you immortal. Because emotion is a wave. It rises, crashes, and disappears. But discipline, it's the tide. It always returns. The disciplined don't wait to feel ready. They act until readiness catches up. The truth, discipline is freedom. The world sees discipline as restriction, as something that chains you. But the truth, discipline liberates you. It frees you from chaos, from regret, from inconsistency. When you master your habits, you master your life. You no longer rely on luck. You become predictable in your greatness. The undisciplined drown in guilt. The disciplined move in peace. Because discipline is not control, it's clarity. You know what you want. You know what matters. And you act on it. again and again, until momentum becomes your identity. The psychology, the momentum law. Momentum doesn't come from doing everything at once. It comes from doing one small thing, repeatedly. That's the discipline code. Small, consistent acts compound into unstoppable motion. 1 page a day becomes a book. 10 push-ups a morning becomes strength. 5 minutes of gratitude becomes joy. The brain craves patterns. When your habits align with your vision, success becomes automatic. Discipline isn't about intensity, it's about continuity. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters long enough to matter. The struggle, the noise of now. We live in an era that worships instant gratification. Everything's fast: food, fame, feedback. We want results before repetition. That's why discipline feels foreign. It's slow, deliberate, sacred. The world says, do it until it works. Discipline whispers, do it until you work. True discipline doesn't chase dopamine. It builds devotion. It's not about forcing habits. It's about falling in love with progress itself. When Kian was asked how he stayed consistent for so long, he said, I stopped chasing results. I started chasing rhythm. That's it. Discipline isn't about control, it's about rhythm. Your rhythm, your routine, your rise. The turning point, when the noise stopped. After his championship win, reporters swarmed Kian, asking what it felt like to finally make it. He smiled and said quietly, I didn't make it tonight. I made it every morning I showed up when no one cared. He wasn't talking about talent. He was talking about trust, the unbreakable trust you build with yourself when you keep your word, even when no one's watching. That's the sacred promise of discipline. It teaches you to believe yourself again. Because every time you say, I'll do it, and actually do it, your confidence compounds. And one day, you wake up unstoppable, not because the world changed, but because you did. Philosophical insight, the monk and the clock. There's an ancient tale of a monk who was asked, how do you stay so peaceful every day? He smiled and said, because I keep my promises to the sunrise. Every morning, he swept the courtyard, meditated, prayed. Even when no one saw, even when it didn't matter. He understood something sacred. Discipline is devotion. It's the act of honoring the divine rhythm between effort and patience. The world outside rewards results, but the soul rewards rituals. And those rituals, those quiet, ordinary moments of consistency, become the invisible scaffolding of an extraordinary life. Cinematic scene, the morning of mastery. Picture this. A painter standing before a blank canvas at dawn, brush trembling but steady. A student opening a textbook before sunrise, whispering, just one more page. A dancer practicing alone in an empty hall, every step echoing purpose. No crowd, no applause, just presence, just promise. That's where momentum is born, in the quiet. And that's where destiny notices you and whispers, keep going, I'm coming. Key takeaways. Discipline is the quiet architecture of greatness. Motivation fades, ritual remains. Freedom is found through consistency, not chaos. Momentum is built, not given. Your habits are the reflection of your self-respect. Action step 1. The morning promise. Choose one ritual you'll do every morning. Reading, journaling, movement, no matter what. Keep that promise for 21 days. 2. The 1% rule. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be 1% better each day. That's how unstoppable momentum is born. 3. The discipline anchor. Identify one area of your life where inconsistency holds you back. Create a small daily ritual that realigns you with discipline and peace. Closing reflection. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom, it's the engine of it. It's how you build a life that doesn't depend on moods, motivation, or miracles. The undisciplined drift. The disciplined direct. Because while others wait for inspiration, you'll already be in motion. And that motion, steady, sacred, unstoppable, will become your identity. You don't need to shout your dreams. Just live your discipline. Because one day, the world will look at your success and say, they were lucky. And you'll smile quietly, knowing, no, I was consistent. Chapter 8. The Rebirth of Ambition. Turning burnout into blazing clarity. There comes a moment in every warrior's life when the fire that once fueled them flickers. The dream that once felt electric turns heavy. And the mirror, once full of possibility, now reflects exhaustion instead of excitement. This is not failure. This is the midpoint between death and resurrection. Burnout is not the end. It's the soul's whisper saying, "You've been running too long without remembering where you were going." The story, the CEO who forgot why. Arya stood in her corner office, staring out at the skyline she once dreamed of. She had it all: the title, the penthouse, the applause. Yet inside, she felt hollow. Her success had become noise, an endless loop of meetings, numbers, deadlines, and pressure. The purpose that once set her soul on fire now felt like a checklist written in invisible ink. One night, as she sat at her desk past midnight, the city lights blinking like tired eyes, she whispered, "When did winning start to feel like losing?" She wasn't broken. She was buried. Buried under expectation, ambition without meaning, and the silent suffocation of having it all. That night, something inside her snapped, not in defeat, but in release. She shut her laptop, walked out of her office, and didn't return for 3 weeks. The descent, the silence after the storm. The first few days were chaos. She didn't know who she was without the constant rush. No meetings, no calls, no noise. Just her. The silence was brutal. Because in that silence, the truth began to echo. She had mistaken achievement for alignment. She realized she had built a life that looked beautiful from the outside, but suffocating from within. Her calendar was full, but her soul was starving. Burnout, she discovered, isn't exhaustion of energy, it's exhaustion of meaning. And that was her wake-up call. The revelation, the flame returns. One morning, she walked to the ocean before dawn. The sky was dark, the air cold, and the horizon barely visible. She sat in the sand, knees pulled close, and whispered, "If I could start again, who would I become?" The waves didn't answer, but they kept returning, over and over, steady, relentless, free. And suddenly, it clicked. She didn't need to quit. She needed to realign. She didn't need to find a new mountain. She just needed to remember why she started climbing the first one. That morning, as the sun rose and painted the water gold, she smiled through tears. The fire was back, not in intensity, but in purity. Ambition, she realized, wasn't about more, it was about meaning. The reflection, burnout as baptism. Burnout isn't destruction, it's purification. It strips away what's fake, the ego, the applause, the chase, until only truth remains. It's life saying, "You've been running after everything except yourself." When you burn out, it's not your energy that dies. It's the version of you that was powered by validation, not vision. The ashes are sacred. They're the soil of rebirth. Because true ambition doesn't come from wanting to prove the world wrong. It comes from wanting to become who you were meant to be. The philosophy, from fire to light. There are 2 kinds of ambition. 1, the kind that burns you. 2, the kind that builds you. The first is fueled by fear. Fear of being forgotten, of not being enough. The second is fueled by faith. Faith that your work, your life, your growth has meaning beyond metrics. One consumes, the other illuminates. Arya learned this the hard way. She stopped chasing recognition and started chasing resonance. She no longer asked, "What can I get?" She asked, "What can I give that matters?" And when she returned to her company, she didn't come back as the same CEO. She came back as a visionary. She redesigned her company's culture around rest, creativity, and human purpose. Productivity soared, not because people worked harder, but because they believed again. The cinematic shift, the phoenix moment. There's a point in every transformation when the ashes start to glow. When exhaustion turns into expansion. When emptiness becomes space for something real. You'll know it when it happens. Your chest will feel lighter. Your breath will deepen. Your dreams will no longer come from pressure. They'll come from peace. Because the fire never really dies. It just waits for you to remember why you lit it in the first place. Psychological insight, the clarity circuit. Science calls it cognitive renewal. When the brain experiences prolonged stress, it shuts down creativity and compassion, the very engines of purpose. But when you rest, reflect, and realign, something beautiful happens. Your brain rewires itself. You begin to see patterns, meaning, and connection again. Clarity is not found in chaos. It's forged in quiet. And once clarity returns, ambition is reborn. Wiser, cleaner, unstoppable. The truth, rest is rebellion. In a world that glorifies grind, rest becomes radical. But rest is not laziness, it's strategy. It's how warriors sharpen their blades. It's how dreamers protect their light. You can't pour from an empty soul. You can't inspire when you're barely breathing. True ambition is sustainable. It flows, it doesn't force. So the next time you feel burnout creeping in, don't shame it. Honor it. It's not the end of your fire. It's your soul asking for a better kind of fuel. Cinematic reflection, the return to purpose. Imagine this scene. A burnt-out artist returns to their studio, brushes dusty, canvas untouched for months. They stare at the emptiness. Then, slowly, they dip the brush into color. The first stroke isn't perfect. It's hesitant, uneven, but it's alive. That's what rebirth feels like. Not fireworks, flickers, not noise, truth. Ambition doesn't die. It transforms. From fire that consumes to light that guides. Key takeaways. Burnout is not the end. It's an invitation to realign. Ambition without meaning leads to emptiness. Clarity is born in silence, not in speed. Rest is not weakness, it's renewal. True fire burns steady, not frantic. Action step 1. The reconnection ritual. Take 30 minutes of silence this week. No screens, no noise. Ask yourself, why did I begin this journey? Write your answer, not from memory, but from emotion. 2. Audit your fire. List your current ambitions. Circle the ones that energize you, and cross out those that drain you. Realign your effort toward what feels alive. 3. The rest rebellion. Commit to one ritual of renewal. Walking, journaling, prayer, stillness. Protect it like an appointment with destiny. Closing reflection. Ambition isn't about running harder, it's about running true. It's the courage to stop chasing what drains you and start building what defines you. The world doesn't need more people on fire from pressure. It needs souls ablaze with clarity. So rest, reflect, rise. And when you return, return with eyes that see further, a heart that feels deeper, and a purpose that burns cleaner. Because this is not the end of your fire. It's the rebirth of your flame. Chapter 9. The Edge of Fear, where every dream either dies or is reborn. There's a moment that defines every dream. Not when it begins, but when it trembles. When the air feels thick, your heart beats too loud, and everything inside you whispers, maybe this isn't meant for me. That's the edge. The place where every dream stands trial. Not against the world, but against the dreamer. The story, The Cliff Diver. The sun was falling over the cliffs of Santorini, spilling gold across the water. Tourists gathered near the edge, their laughter blending with the sound of crashing waves. Among them stood Leo, 28, camera in hand, sweat on his palms, a single dare echoing in his mind. He'd spent years dreaming of freedom, of quitting the job that caged him, of starting the adventure channel he'd talked about for years. He'd told everyone he was waiting for the right time. And now, here it was, a literal edge. A 40-foot cliff, the sea roaring below like an open dare. His friends had already jumped, their shouts fading into the blue. He stood frozen. The wind howled. His thoughts screamed louder. What if I hit a rock? What if I'm not ready? What if I fall wrong? But beneath the noise, another voice whispered, quieter, yet stronger. What if this is the moment that changes everything? Leo took a breath that tasted like lightning. His legs trembled. His mind begged him to step back, but his soul leaned forward. He didn't jump away from fear. He jumped through it. The fall was chaos. Wind, water, impact, silence, and then laughter. Raw, alive, unstoppable laughter. He surfaced, eyes wide, lungs burning, heart reborn. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about life. He was living it. The realization, the fear before flight. Fear isn't the enemy. It's the doorway. Every great dream lives just past the line of discomfort. Fear is the price of admission to the life you were meant to live. But most people mistake the edge of fear for a wall, when in truth, it's a bridge. The difference between those who rise and those who remain isn't who feels fear. It's who moves with it. Leo didn't conquer fear. He partnered with it. He learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to leap while your legs still shake. Reflection, the prison of safety. We were raised to worship comfort, to choose the known over the possible. To stay small because small feels safe. But comfort is a silent killer. It steals potential one quiet day at a time. Fear, on the other hand, is pure life force. Raw, wild, sacred. Every person you admire, every innovator, every artist, every warrior, met fear like an old friend and said, "Let's dance." Fear isn't proof you're on the wrong path. It's proof you're finally on the right one. The psychology of the edge. Fear and excitement are nearly identical in the brain. The same chemical, adrenaline, floods your system in both states. The only difference? The story you tell yourself. When you say, "I'm scared," your brain prepares to run. When you say, "I'm ready," your brain prepares to rise. It's the same storm, only the name changes. That's why champions don't seek less fear. They master the art of translating it. They alchemize anxiety into anticipation, panic into power, hesitation into hunger. Cinematic moment, the second leap. A year after that cliff jump, Leo stood on another edge, but this one wasn't over water. It was his resignation letter, trembling in his hand. The same fear returned, the same pounding heart, sweaty palms, and whisper of doubt. But this time he smiled. He knew the pattern. He knew fear was the signal, not the stop sign. He turned in the letter, then walked out free. 6 months later, his travel videos began to gain traction. Not because they were perfect, but because they were real. The same man who once froze at the edge of a cliff was now standing on the edge of purpose, diving into every dawn, chasing every horizon. And when people asked him, "Weren't you scared?" he laughed. "Of course I was. That's how I knew it mattered." The lesson: fear as a compass. Fear points to the exact direction of your growth. It's not a curse, it's a compass. When something scares you, it's revealing where your next evolution lies. You're not meant to eliminate fear. You're meant to outgrow it. Each time you walk through it, your threshold expands. Your vision sharpens. Your spirit strengthens. You become fluent in the language of courage. And fear becomes just another word for potential. Philosophical insight: the two deaths. Every person dies twice. Once when their body falls, and once when they surrender their dream to fear. Most never realize that the second death often happens first. When you stop trying because it's uncomfortable. When you let "what if" paralyze your why. When you choose comfort over calling. That's when your light begins to dim. But resurrection is always possible. Every moment of fear is also an invitation to rebirth. Cinematic reflection, standing at the edge. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing at the edge of everything you've ever wanted. Behind you, safety, predictability, approval. Before you, uncertainty, risk, greatness. Your legs tremble. Your mind shouts. But your soul whispers. Jump. That whisper is your higher self. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait for guarantees. It knows that life begins where fear ends. Because every legend, every legacy, every revolution began the same way, with one trembling step forward. Key takeaways. Fear is not a wall. It's a doorway to your next evolution. The edge of fear is where potential awakens. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving while afraid. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. Your biggest growth hides behind your loudest hesitation. Action step 1. The fear map. Write down 3 things that currently scare you about your goals. For each one, ask, what does this fear reveal about the person I'm becoming? Turn each fear into a direction, not a deterrent. 2. The edge ritual. Every day this week, do one small thing that stretches your comfort zone. A conversation, a creative risk, a decision you've delayed. Treat fear as a teacher, not a threat. 3. Rewrite the story. When fear whispers, "What if I fail?" Respond, "What if I fly?" Say it aloud. Feel the shift. That's your power reclaiming itself. Closing reflection. The edge of fear is sacred ground. It's where you meet the version of yourself you've been running from, and the version you were born to become. Fear will never disappear, but every time you face it, you'll realize you were never standing at the edge of danger. You were standing at the edge of destiny. Because in the end, every dream has only 2 choices: to die in hesitation, or to be reborn in courage. And when you finally leap, you'll discover the wings were never out there. They were always within you. Chapter 10. The Company of Lions. Choosing environments that sharpen your roar. They say iron sharpens iron, but what they forget to tell you is that dull blades fear the spark. The people you walk with determine how you walk through life. Every circle either stretches you or shrinks you, ignites your roar or silences it. You can't run with the timid and expect to live like a lion. The story, the boxer, and the noise. In a dusty gym on the south side of the city, a young boxer named Malik was training under fluorescent lights that hummed like tired bees. Sweat darkened the floor. The air smelled of iron and effort. He wasn't the biggest, not the fastest, but he was hungry, fiercely, silently hungry. His friends laughed when he trained on weekends. "Bro, no one even watches boxing anymore," they'd tease. "Come chill. You're wasting your time." And for a while, he did. He started skipping sessions, staying out late, letting the noise of small minds drown out the rhythm of his purpose. But one night, after another empty party, Malik looked at his reflection in a cracked mirror and saw a man fading. Eyes tired, spirit smaller. He whispered, "I'm training for a championship and living like a spectator." That night, he walked out of the noise. He didn't make an announcement. He just disappeared into discipline. He joined a different gym, older, quieter, hungrier. No music, no mirrors, just fighters. The men there didn't talk about dreams. They bled for them. They didn't celebrate potential, they demanded proof. Every punch Malik threw was met with feedback, every mistake with mentorship. And slowly, the softness burned away. The laughter that once distracted him was replaced by the sound of leather hitting focus pads, a heartbeat syncing with purpose. The transformation, the circle of fire. Months later, Malik returned to his old neighborhood. Same streets, same people, different energy. They didn't recognize him at first, not because of muscles or medals, but because of presence. He stood taller, quieter, clearer. Someone joked, "Bro, you changed." He smiled. "I had to, because growth always demands a trade. To rise, you must leave behind the rooms that keep you grounded in smallness. You can't evolve in the same atmosphere that applauds your excuses. You can't roar in cages built for whispers." Malik learned that proximity is power. If you surround yourself with lions, you'll learn to roar. If you sit among sheep, you'll learn to settle. Reflection, the physics of energy. Energy is contagious. It's science, not poetry. Your environment is not neutral. It's either charging your potential or draining it. Spend enough time around people who doubt everything, and you'll begin doubting yourself. Spend enough time with visionaries, and your dreams will feel small until you make them real. Your life reflects the temperature of your circle. If it's cold with complacency, warm it by walking into rooms where excellence burns. Because greatness isn't inherited, it's absorbed. The philosophy, the lion's code. Lions don't move with the crowd. They move with the pride. And every pride has a purpose: to protect, to challenge, to elevate. The lioness hunts. The cub learns. The old lion watches with wisdom. No one apologizes for their strength. No one hides their hunger. That's what a growth circle feels like. Mutual accountability mixed with mutual respect. A place where ambition isn't mocked, it's mirrored. Where honesty isn't cruelty, it's compassion in disguise. In contrast, the wrong circle is like a fog, soft, familiar, and deadly. You don't feel yourself fading until the roar inside you turns into a sigh. Cinematic moment, the mentor. One night, after an intense sparring session, Malik sat on the edge of the ring, exhausted. His coach, a retired fighter named Jax, walked over and said quietly, "You're improving, but remember this. The lion doesn't need the jungle's approval to roar. He needs only the company of lions." Malik nodded, sweat dripping from his chin. That line tattooed itself on his soul. Years later, when he became a regional champion, he wasn't grateful for the trophies. He was grateful for the tribe. The people who pushed him, corrected him, held him to his highest standard. The ones who refused to let him forget who he was. Philosophical insight, the law of elevation. Life always meets you at the level of your environment. You can't sustain elevation surrounded by erosion. You can't evolve in an ecosystem built for comfort. Every major transformation in history began with a shift in environment, a change in the air, the company, the conversations. Jesus had his disciples. Mandela had his cellmates. Da Vinci had his patrons. Steve Jobs had his garage rebels. Every legacy is a group project disguised as an individual victory. If your circle doesn't challenge your limits, it's not a circle, it's a cage. The modern truth, digital crowds, and real isolation. We live in an era where we're connected to thousands, but mentored by none. We follow motivational accounts, yet rarely have someone call us out in love when we drift. We confuse validation with connection, but real growth doesn't come from hearts and likes. It comes from people who hold you to the fire when you want to quit. In this generation, the greatest rebellion isn't isolation, it's intentional community. Cinematic reflection, the return to the arena. Imagine walking into a room where everyone is fighting for their next level, where mediocrity is the only thing that feels out of place. That's what the company of lions feels like. Every conversation sharpens you. Every challenge reminds you of your strength. Every setback becomes a shared story of comeback. And when you walk out into the world again, you don't just walk taller, you roar louder. Key takeaways. Your environment is either your oxygen or your poison. Choose wisely. Proximity is power. Your circle becomes your standard. You can't roar in rooms built for silence. The right people don't just support you, they stretch you. Growth requires separation from comfort and connection to challenge. Action step 1. Circle audit. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Next to each name, note whether they drain or drive you. Adjust accordingly. 2. Find your pride. Join one community, mentorship, or creative group that reflects your next level. Don't wait to be invited. Initiate the alliance. 3. The challenge pact. Create a pact with one growth partner, someone who will call you out with honesty and lift you up with belief. Accountability breeds acceleration. Closing reflection. Every dreamer begins as a lone voice in the wilderness. But every legend rises because they found their pride, their people, their mirrors, their lions. You were never meant to hunt alone. You were meant to roar with others who remind you who you are when you forget. Because success is never truly solitary. It's a symphony of souls who refuse to settle. So choose your pride carefully. Because in the end, your roar will only be as strong as the echoes around you. Walk with lions, and the world will hear your roar. Chapter 11. Legacy over likes. Building something that outlives your timeline. The night was still when Ayan scrolled through his phone, thumb flicking through an endless scroll of smiles, highlights, and carefully lit moments. Every face glowed under the blue light of approval. Every caption screamed, "Look at me." But beneath the glow, he felt hollow. He wasn't lonely, he was unseen. Not for who he was, but for who he tried to be. He locked his phone, sat in the quiet, and whispered to himself, "If I disappeared tomorrow, what would stay alive because of me?" The question hit like thunder. It wasn't about vanity anymore. It was about value. The awakening, the death of digital immortality. We were promised immortality through the internet. Post enough, share enough, build enough followers, and maybe you'd never be forgotten. But the truth? The feed forgets fast. Yesterday's viral moment is today's digital dust. Your likes are not your legacy. Legacy lives in people, not pixels. It's written not by your followers, but by those you impact. Ayan realized he'd been building a monument made of mist, a brand that looked alive online but felt dead in real life. He wanted to be remembered not for the noise he made, but for the lives he moved. The shift, from impressing to impacting. He started small. He stopped posting for applause and started showing up for people. He mentored a boy from his neighborhood who was lost, angry, and invisible, much like he once was. He didn't record it. He didn't caption it. He just did it. And something sacred happened. For the first time in years, he slept peacefully. Because true peace doesn't come from being noticed. It comes from being needed. Cinematic reflection, the funeral thought experiment. Imagine your funeral. No filters, no reels, just real people. Who would speak? What would they say? Would they talk about your hustle or your heart? Would they remember what you posted or how you showed up? That is the question every great soul eventually faces. Are you chasing attention, or are you building afterlife value? The kind that lives on in stories, in minds, and souls? The philosophy, echoes versus noise. Noise fills the moment. Echoes fill eternity. Noise demands to be heard now. Echoes whisper across generations. The world is full of people shouting for attention, But only a few are planting echoes, ideas, values, and kindness that will speak long after they're gone. Noise fades. Echoes form legacies. Every time you teach, serve, or inspire, you leave behind an echo. Every time you choose integrity over image, you plant a seed that outlives your lifetime. Story: the man who refused to be famous. In a remote village, there lived a schoolteacher named Abdul Qadir. He never owned a smartphone. He never went viral. But every child who passed through his classroom carried a spark that changed their destiny. Years later, one became a doctor, another an engineer, another a poet. They all spoke of one thing: he believed in me when no one else did. Abdul Qadir died quietly, without fame or fortune. But decades later, his students built a school in his name, a sanctuary for children who couldn't afford an education. That's legacy. No hashtags, no highlights, just humanity. The insight: legacy is a daily choice. Legacy isn't built in eulogies. It's built in every ordinary moment you choose to do something extraordinary. It's when you call your mother back, when you forgive someone who hurt you, when you create without chasing applause, when you speak truth even when silence would be easier. You don't leave a legacy. You live one, daily, quietly, relentlessly. The mirror of modern times. We live in an age where fame is faster than fulfillment, where people chase algorithms but forget alignment. We are producing influencers faster than leaders, but influence without integrity is empty noise. The truth? The world doesn't need more viral videos. It needs visible values. Likes fade. Principles don't. The cinematic moment. The fire of the future. One night, Ayan stood on the rooftop, the city's lights flickering below him like a constellation of dreams. He thought of all the people who came before him, his grandparents, his teachers, his mentors, people who lived without social media but built worlds that still stood today. He realized something divine. Legacy is not about being remembered by many. It's about being remembered deeply by a few. That night, he made a vow. He would no longer chase relevance. He would become resonance. Philosophical insight: the 3 layers of legacy. 1. Personal legacy: the character you build. This is who you are when no one's watching. Your integrity, resilience, and authenticity. 2. Relational legacy: the lives you touch, the love you give, the encouragement you offer, the hope you ignite. 3. Universal legacy: the change you contribute, the ideas, art, or actions that ripple into the collective soul of humanity. You don't need to master all 3. You just need to begin with one. The truth about time: we are all running out of time, but that's what makes it beautiful. Because the awareness of death is what gives birth to urgency in life. One day, your social media accounts will freeze. Your photos will become archives. Your voice will fade into memory. But what you build in others will outlive you. Every act of kindness, courage, and creation becomes a bridge to eternity. That is the only kind of immortality that matters. Key takeaways: likes fade fast, legacies grow slow, but they grow forever. Your value is not measured in followers, but in the lives you lift. Impact begins when image ends. You don't leave a legacy, you live one every day. Build what algorithms can't delete: character, contribution, and compassion. Action step: 1. Legacy letter. Write a 1-page letter titled "When I'm Gone." Describe what you want to be remembered for, not by title, but by truth. 2. Echo habit. Choose one action this week that leaves an echo. Teach, help, forgive, or create. Do it quietly. No post, no proof, just presence. 3. Audit your influence. Look at how you spend your time and attention online. Ask, is this building my brand or my legacy? Closing reflection. When your timeline ends, your story doesn't. It continues in the people you've touched, in the minds you've awakened, in the hearts you've healed. You were not born to collect likes. You were born to create light. So trade the temporary thrill of being seen for the eternal power of being felt. Because one day, the world will scroll past your photos, but your impact will still whisper, they lived, they loved, they mattered. Chapter 12. Rise Anyway. Becoming the generation that refuses to stay down. The city slept under a tired sky. Billboards flashed their last lights. Dreamers rested, some in peace, others in silent defeat. And somewhere, In a dimly lit apartment, a young woman named Zara stared at her reflection in a cracked mirror. Her eyes carried the weight of too many almosts. Almost successful, almost happy, almost enough. She whispered the words she'd said 1,000 times before. Maybe I'm just not meant to win. And yet, deep inside that whisper was something sacred, a flicker that refused to die. Because even when her mind was exhausted, her spirit wasn't finished. The breaking point. Zara once had dreams that made her heart race. To build, to inspire, to matter. But years of rejection had carved silence into her soul. Every no became a scar. Every failure became a mirror reflecting her doubt back at her. She scrolled through her phone and saw others. Younger, louder, luckier, racing ahead. The digital parade of perfection made her feel like a ghost in her own story. That night, she cried, not because she was weak, but because she still cared. And when the tears stopped, something strange happened, a calm she didn't recognize. In that quiet, a thought rose from somewhere ancient and true. You don't have to feel ready to rise. You just have to rise. The philosophy, the sacred defiance of rising. Every generation has its battlefield. Theirs was war. Ours is worth. We are fighting invisible wars of anxiety, distraction, identity, and expectation. But victory still belongs to those who refuse to surrender their spirit. Because life will always try to knock you down. It will question your timing, test your faith, and tempt you to settle. But when you rise, again and again, you declare something divine. You can bruise my hope, but you can't break my purpose. Story, The Wall of Names. Years later, Zara built something unexpected, a community called Rise Anyway. It began as an online space for people who were tired of pretending to have it all together. She wrote stories of her own failures, raw, unfiltered, real. And people from around the world began to share theirs. They created what they called the Wall of Names, a digital mural of everyone who refused to give up. Doctors, artists, mothers, dropouts, dreamers, survivors. Each name was a victory, not of success, but of persistence. Because the truth is, the bravest thing you can do in a collapsing world is to stand up again. Reflection, the Phoenix Paradox. Every time you rise from your ashes, the world sees the smoke, but not the spark. It's not the fire that defines the phoenix. It's the decision to burn and be reborn anyway. The pain didn't kill you, it clarified you. The loss didn't break you, it built you. And the fear you felt? It was never a wall. It was a doorway. Cinematic passage, the gathering of the unbroken. Imagine it, millions rising at dawn. Not perfect, not polished, but present. Some with tear-streaked faces. Some with empty wallets, but full hearts. Some who've been laughed at, doubted, betrayed. Yet all whispering the same vow. We will rise anyway. That is not weakness. That is evolution. Because empires crumble. Markets crash. People fail. But spirit endures. And this generation? This generation was built to rise, not to complain. The truth about resilience. Resilience isn't glamorous. It's waking up after the breakdown. It's sending the email after rejection. It's choosing kindness in a cruel world. It's believing again when belief feels foolish. It's not fire that makes you unstoppable. It's endurance. And every scar you carry is not proof that you lost. It's proof that you refuse to quit. The transformation, from dreamers to builders. The future doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who build while they're bleeding. You don't need more confidence. You need more commitment. You don't need permission. You need decision. You don't need certainty. You need movement. Every great story began with someone who chose to rise when quitting was easier. So rise. Bleeding, doubting, tired. Rise anyway. Because your motion becomes momentum, and your persistence becomes prophecy. The metaphor, mountains don't move, they're conquered. Some people wait for their obstacles to shrink. Champions grow until the mountain seems small. You don't climb a mountain to show the world how big you are. You climb it to show yourself that you never needed to stay small. Cinematic moment. The flame passes on. Years later, Zara spoke to a crowd of thousands. She looked into their faces, faces that mirrored her own journey, and said, "The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs resilient souls. People who fall 7 times and rise 8. People who build what they wish existed. People who rise not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The crowd stood in silence, and then, slowly, in unison, they rose to their feet. Not in applause, but in acknowledgement, because they understood something eternal. The rise isn't a moment, it's a movement. Philosophical insight, the anatomy of the unstoppable. To rise anyway means 1. You accept that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. 2. You stop waiting for the world to understand you and start becoming undeniable. 3. You realize that destiny doesn't come to the deserving, it comes to the deciding. 4. You lead even when you're scared. 5. You love even when the world teaches you to hate. The emotional crescendo, the generation that refuses to stay down. We are not the lost generation. We are the learning generation. We are not lazy. We're just tired of meaningless hustle. We crave purpose more than praise. We seek progress, not perfection. We've fallen, yes, but falling taught us how to rise stronger. And so, when history looks back, let it say this. They rose, despite the noise, despite the fear, despite the odds. They rose because they understood that pain is temporary, but purpose is timeless. Key takeaways. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about rising faster each time. Pain is not a signal to stop. It's an invitation to evolve. Your scars are not symbols of weakness. They're signatures of survival. Courage doesn't erase fear. It moves through it. This generation's legacy will not be perfection. It will be perseverance. Action step 1. The Rise Journal. For the next 7 days, document one way you rose anyway. A small victory, an act of resilience, a moment of quiet strength. 2. Reframe failure. List 3 of your biggest failures. Then, beside each one, write what it taught you, built in you, or revealed about you. 3. Make the vow. Stand in front of a mirror and say aloud, I will rise anyway. For myself, for those who couldn't, and for those who will come after. Closing reflection. The rise is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your legend. Because one day, someone will face their breaking point, and they'll remember you. Your words, your fight, your rise. And in that moment, your resilience will echo across time. So when life knocks, when doubt whispers, when fear crawls back in, stand tall, breathe deep, and rise anyway. Because that's what this generation does. We fall, we break, we bleed, and then we rise anyway.